Hey, Dub JJ, you doing okay this morning? I just put on my coffee, hold on, you guys. Hello? Hey, I was just calling you this morning to see what you was doing. I was calling your house phone and and it's something wrong with it. Mm-hmm. Oh, I was just gonna see if you was gonna go walking later today. I was gonna come over there and walk with you. Oh, it's a heat advisory. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Over behind the East Precinct. You see, Fred Smith died. You see, Fred Smith died. Yeah, he just died. Mm, okay. Okay, you guys, I'm sorry. Um, y'all make sure y'all hit the like button as you all come into the room. Make sure you guys hit the like button, please. Like, share, and subscribe, you guys. I want to say rest in peace to Fred Smith. Of course, we know that Fred Smith is he was a Memphian. He was the owner um, and creator of Fedex, right? A Memphian that started up Fedex, and he passed away um, this morning. And they say he gave control of FedEx to his son, but I do know the person was just telling me on the phone, but I do know like with FedEx, they talked about he did a lot within FedEx for as far as like contracted minority businesses. He did. Let's see who's in here. Dub JJ, ZK Shan, Tyranny, TB21, Positive Vibes, and Gary. Hope that you guys are doing okay on this morning. Yeah, long lived Dolph. Long lived Dolph. I was going to talk about this last night, but I ended up being on Hitter's panel last night. I saw that Hitter was on, and I was like, oh, when I saw that we went to war, I was like, I'm gonna wait till Hitter go off. And he ended up doing a marathon. And he sent me the link, so I went over there and supported his channel, and I was like, I'll just talk about it tomorrow. But it bothers me, you guys, that we are at war. Okay, um, I don't know. I just don't think that anything good could come out of it. You know what I mean? I don't think nothing good could come out of this. They went and bombed Iran, and now that somebody told me supposedly Trump is saying now we need to talk about peace, and that's what I don't understand. Do he really think that we're going to be able to bomb another country, right? And there's going to be peace. It's not going to be peace. We see how they weaponize. I think they do something because I've been had a cough, and I'm not lying. Like, seem like my throat be closing up. Like, I've never had a hard time fighting off like colds. It seemed like My throat be clogged up all the time. My head be clogged up. And I know that I'm eating healthier. I'm exercising and all of that. But I think it's something in the air. Sometimes I feel like I can't breathe. Yeah, shout out to Hitter. Shout out to Hitter. Hitter's a good dude. I was just talking to him this morning. I told Hitter, I said, no, I know you be getting tired of me because I be calling him anytime. Early morning. I done called him 6 o'clock in the morning. Hitter, you up? Yeah, Miss T, I'm up. And his voice, I know you sleep. Because I can hear the sleep in your voice. Shout out to him. He had a really good live. He always have really good lives. Shout out to him. Y'all, I don't think that I just don't think that it's a good thing. But hold on, I'm trying to pull it up. Because it's like now who else is going to join in this war against the United States? And it's the American people that suffer. Hold on.
Now at war with Iran.
No, Kristen, we're not at war with Iran. We're at war with Iran's nuclear program. And let me just say, Kristen, that we're incredibly grateful and proud of the American Air Force pilots who did an incredible job last night. The operation was really extraordinary. These guys flew from Missouri. They didn't land a single time. They dropped 30,000-pound bombs on a target the size of a washing machine, and then got back home safely without ever landing in the Middle East or ever stopping other than to briefly refuel. And of course, they did that in the air. So it's really an incredible operation, a testament to the power of American military. And I think what shows what can happen when you have that great American military in the hands of capable presidential leadership. What we did is we destroyed the Iranian nuclear program. I think we set that program back substantially, and we did it without endangering the lives of the American pilots. That's an incredible thing, and I think we all should be proud. Whatever our politics, we should be proud of what these guys accomplished. A very, very high impact mission under a lot of pressure.
I wish this was my job.
You know what? AI that with Copilot.
Mr. Vice President, let's talk about what happens next. President Trump posted on social media, quote, any retaliation by Iran will be met with force greater than what was witnessed tonight. If Iran retaliates against the U.S., as it is threatening, what will the United States response be?
Well, Kristen, that's ultimately going to be the president's decision. But what we've said to the Iranians is we do not want war with Iran. We actually want peace. But we want peace in the context of them not having a nuclear weapons program. And that's exactly what the president accomplished last night. I really think there are two big questions for the Iranians here. Are they going to attack American troops, or are they going to continue with their nuclear weapons program? And if they leave American troops out of it and they decide to give up their nuclear weapons program once and for all, then I think the president has been very clear. We can have a good relationship with the Iranians. We can have a peaceful situation in that region of the world. We have to step back a little bit, Kristen, and remind ourselves that we negotiated aggressively with the Iranians to try to find a peaceful settlement to this conflict. It was only when the president decided that the Iranians were not negotiating in good faith that he took this action. Yeah. He didn't take it lightly, but I actually think it provides an opportunity to reset this relationship, reset these negotiations, and get us in a place where Iran can decide not to be a threat to its neighbors, not to be a threat to the United States. And if they're willing to do that, the United States is all ears.
Well, let's talk about the possibility of negotiations. I mean, the Iranian foreign minister responded to the strikes this morning, saying Israel and the U.S. have, quote, blown up diplomacy. Mr. Vice President, is there any real hope for diplomacy, or is diplomacy dead at this point?
Well, I think the foreign minister is exactly wrong. We didn't blow up diplomacy. We only took this action, Kristen, when it was clear, as the president said, that the Iranians were tapping us along. I think it's important for the American people to appreciate here that if you go back to March of this year, we had the entire administration engaged in this diplomatic effort. And frankly, in March of this year, we had some optimism. How do we get from there to now? And the answer is we felt very strongly that the Iranians were stonewalling us. They weren't taking this seriously. They were trying to draw this process out as long as possible so that they could rebuild their nuclear weapons program without the threat of American action. We had a limited window in which we could take out this Fordo nuclear facility in particular. The president decided to take it, but we didn't blow up the diplomacy. The diplomacy never was given a real chance by the Iranians. And our hope, Kristen, as the president said repeatedly, is that this maybe can reset here. The Iranians have a choice. They can go down the path of peace, or they can go down the path of this ridiculous brinksmanship of funding terrorism, of trying to build a nuclear weapon, and that's just not something the United States can accept. I want to say something, Kristen, just to the Iranian leadership. Look, they have tried to build a nuclear weapons program. That program is now destroyed. They tried to build a conventional missile program to attack neighbors in the region. That missile program has shown to be a failure. They have funded terrorism aggressively in the region, and now most of their terrorism proxies are destroyed. The Iranians are clearly not very good at war. Perhaps they should follow President Trump's lead and give peace a chance. If they're serious about it, I guarantee you the president of the United States is too.
So has the administration...
Ken says Obama messed up giving Iran all that money back during his term. Iran is a proxy of China. Y'all, I don't know what to say because I don't know. It's a little scary to me because, you know, even like the Iranians that are in the United States, you know, that owns a lot of these gas stations and all of that, even though they are in the United States, oftentimes they come to the United States to make money, to get rich, so they can go back to their countries. They have an undying loyalty to their country. And oftentimes a lot of them, you know, don't have a problem. They think it's an honor. It's, you know, it's death before dishonor, right? They don't have issues with dying for what they believe in. I think it's sad because the American people, like Shan said, you know, she has a son that's in the service. And it goes back to what I always said, my dad said, that young, you know, what we're not going to speak that though. I don't want to say that about the young soldiers. Hopefully, I would hope that it's over. Just like I don't think it's as easy as what JD just said. You know, they went and bombed and something the size of a washing machine, and we're not at war with Iran. You know, they just wanted to take out, you know, dismantle or whatever their weapons. It's not as easy as that. Because somebody was telling me this morning that Iran said, Mr. President, we didn't start this war, but we're going to finish it. So who suffers other than the American people? And we already see the types of stuff that they do. Right. Iran wants all the smoke. So we see the type of stuff that they do. They, you know, weaponize the air. They weaponize the food, the water. We get stuff like cold to the vid. You know what I mean? Like, hey, it says that's really sad messing with them people. They are all over the United States, and we taught them how to fly plane. Right. We absolutely. I think they're going to start, like, you'll start seeing more and more like big, because they're really good with computers. We'll start seeing probably like major companies start getting hacked and stuff like that. Hey, you know, they start with the computer science, and then I think it spills over to the air, the hey, and who knows how they're gonna hit back this time? Shit, I just and I think what's so scary to me is like when they um war with like the American people, the first thing that they do is start trying to hit them government buildings, like them federal buildings. That's the first thing that they do. So I'm just gonna stay in prayer. They start to, oh Lord Jesus, Lord have mercy. Mm, mm, mm. That's the first thing they go after. Trump picks on everyone that isn't white. Anyone ever notice? It says OPEC want Iran out. It says Cyprus right and Korea ain't to be played. I think Iran has allies. I think that's why Iran was ready for the United States, because I think that they have allies with some of these countries. I know the United States is bigger, but I mean, if they have quite a bit of allies. He says Cyprus absolutely what they have to realize Japan has big weapons. Absolutely. Russia can't beat Ukraine. Russia is broke. They are using WW2 equipment. It's all about money with Trump. I felt something coming behind this. Hey, Uri Myers. Ken, what do you think they're going to do? Hold on, you guys. I'm looking for something else. Hold on, you guys. So I would say we just need to make sure. Oh Lord Jesus, y'all. Oh God, y'all. This I'm telling you. When I get worried about stuff, I promise you. Hold on. See what Iran is saying. It says, is this the right thing? Hold on. I was trying to pull up Iran vows retaliation. Okay, Iran vows retaliation. Hey, Lutie.
Last night, on the president's orders, U.S. Central Command, under the command of General Eric Kurilla, executed Operation Midnight Hammer, a deliberate and precise strike against 3 Iranian nuclear facilities. This was a complex and high-risk mission carried out with exceptional skill and discipline by our joint force. I want to thank every service member, planner, operator that made this mission possible. Their actions reflect the highest standards of the United States Armed Forces. This operation was designed to severely degrade Iran's nuclear weapons infrastructure. It was planned and executed across multiple domains and theaters with coordination that reflects our ability to project power globally with speed and precision at the time and place of our nation's choosing. This was a highly classified mission with very few people in Washington knowing the timing or nature of this plan. I'll refer you to the graphic on the side as I walk you through some of the operational details. At midnight Friday into Saturday morning, a large B-2 strike package comprised of bombers launched from the continental United States. As part of a plan to maintain tactical surprise, part of the package proceeded to the west and into the Pacific as a decoy, a deception effort known only to an extremely small number of planners and key leaders here in Washington and in Tampa. The main strike package, comprised of 7 B-2 Spirit bombers, each with 2 crew members, proceeded quietly to the east with minimal communications. Throughout the 18-hour flight into the target area, the aircraft completed multiple in-flight refuelings. Once over land, the B-2s linked up with escort and support aircraft in a complex, tightly timed maneuver requiring exact synchronization across multiple platforms in a narrow piece of airspace, all done with minimal communications. This type of integration is exactly what our joint force does better than anyone else in the world. At approximately 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time last night, and just prior to the strike package entering Iran, a U.S. submarine in the Central Command Area of Responsibility launched more than 24 Tomahawk land attack cruise missiles against key surface infrastructure targets at Esfahan. As the Operation Midnight Hammer strike package entered Iranian airspace, the U.S. employed several deception tactics, including decoys, as the 4th and 5th generation aircraft pushed out in front of the strike package at high altitude and high speed, sweeping in front of the package for enemy fighters and surface-to-air missile threats. The strike package was supported by U.S. Strategic Command, U.S. Transportation Command, U.S. Cyber Command, U.S. Space Command, U.S. Space Force, and U.S. European Command. As the strike package approached Fordo and Natanz, the U.S. protection package employed high-speed suppression weapons to ensure safe passage of the strike package, with fighter assets employing preemptive suppressing fires against any potential Iranian surface-to-air threats. We are currently unaware of any shots fired at the U.S. strike package on the way in. At approximately 6:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2:10 a.m. Iran time, the lead B-2 dropped 2 GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator weapons on the first of several aim points at Fordo. As the president stated last night, the remaining bombers then hit their targets as well, with a total of 14 MOPs dropped against 2 nuclear target areas. All 3 Iranian nuclear infrastructure targets were struck between 6:40 p.m. and 7:05 p.m. Eastern time. Again, that's about 2:10 in the morning local time in Iran, with the Tomahawk missiles being the last to strike at Esfahan to ensure we retain the element of surprise throughout the operation. Following weapons release, the Midnight Hammer strike package exited Iranian airspace and the package began its return home. We are unaware of any shots fired at the package on the way out. Iran's fighters did not fly, and it appears that Iran's surface-to-air missile systems did not see us. Throughout the mission, we retained the element of surprise. In total, U.S. forces employed approximately 75 precision-guided weapons during this operation. This included, as the president stated last night, 14 30,000-pound GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrators, marking the first ever operational use of this weapon. I know that battle damage is of great interest. Final battle damage will take some time, but initial battle damage assessments indicate that all 3 sites sustained extremely severe damage and destruction. More than 125 U.S. aircraft participated in this mission, including B-2 stealth bombers, multiple flights of fourth and fifth generation fighters, dozens and dozens of air refueling tankers, a guided missile submarine, and a full array of intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance aircraft, as well as hundreds of maintenance and operational professionals. As the Secretary said, this was the largest B-2 operational strike in U.S. history and the second longest B-2 mission ever flown, exceeded only by those in the days following 9/11. Well prior to the strike, General Kurilla elevated force protection measures across the region, especially in Iraq, Syria, and the Gulf. Our forces remain on high alert and are fully postured to respond to any Iranian retaliation or proxy attacks, which would be an incredibly poor choice. We will defend ourselves. The safety of our service members and civilians remains our highest priority. This mission demonstrates the unmatched reach, coordination, and capability of the United States military. In just a matter of weeks, this went from strategic planning to global execution. This operation underscores the unmatched capabilities and global reach of the United States military. As the president clearly said last night, no other military in the world could have done this. I join the president and the secretary in being incredibly proud of the air crews, naval forces, cyber operators, planners, and support teams and commanders who made this mission possible. It is their skill, discipline, and teamwork that makes this operation possible. I am particularly proud of our discipline related to operational security, something that was of great concern to the president, the secretary, General Kurilla, and me, and we will continue to focus on this. As we stand here this morning, many assets are still airborne, and we have hundreds deployed. I ask that we keep our warfighters on their way home and our deployed service member in our thoughts. Our joint force remains ready to defend the United States, our troops, and our interests in the region. Thank you very much.
Can diplomacy produce a solution in 2 weeks?
Well, I think it's up to, Americans, the United States, to show their determination for going for a negotiated solution, or they have something else in their mind and they want to attack Iran anyway. So they have perhaps this plan, and they just needed negotiations, perhaps, to cover it up.
Oh, wow.
We don't know how we can trust them anymore.
Wow.
What they did.
They're saying they can't trust America.
A betrayal to diplomacy.
President Trump had his security briefing today in the Situation Room. What have we learned about his thinking?
We know that, per the White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt here.
So Iran is saying that they can't trust America anymore because all it took is negotiations, and America just wanted to do that. So that they can't trust America. So of course they're going to retaliate. They have vowed to retaliate. And so who suffers? The American people. My dad was a soldier. My dad used to always say that young men have to die in war. Young men have to die for wars that old men start. And so, I think the American people are going to suffer because we already see how they know how to weaponize the air. They know how to weaponize the water. They know how to weaponize the foods. And my God, they always hidden at federal buildings. They don't have an issue with dying for what they believe in. They don't care about getting in a damn plane and going into a building, crashing it into a building, and them being in it. So, Yeah, I just it's praying time. It's praying time. It really is, because they have vocalized that they're going to retaliate. Hold on. Iran has allies also, so hold on, you guys. Hold on, you guys. Make sure y'all hit the like button for me. But here's the thing: the American people are always the last to know when something is getting ready to happen. Hold on, you guys. I'm trying to pull up something.
And also threatened that there would be an even tougher response if Iran fires back. What do you say?
I think this is complete bullying.
President Trump came out in a statement after the attack and called on Iran to make peace, and also threatened that there would be an even tougher response if Iran
You're welcome,
fires back.
Deontay.
I think this is complete bullying. You attack a country and then threaten it again with more attacks. I think this is a manifestation of systematic, institutionalized bullying at the global level.
How does this inflame tensions in the Middle East?
It is unprecedentedly dangerous, because now everyone perceives this as a success for Benjamin Netanyahu in dragging the United States into his war. And I think the whole region is alarmed. We have very good relations with our neighbors, Islamic countries, Arab countries. They have been unified, condemning this act of aggression by Israel and by the United States. No one knows what will happen next, but what is sure is that the responsibility for the consequences of this war must be borne by the United States and by its ally, Israel.
Is this the end of diplomacy between the US and Iran?
Diplomacy never ends. That's a rule, that's a principle for Iranians. We have never left the negotiating table. But now, I think we are witnessing a betrayal of diplomacy by the Trump administration.
Wow. They're constantly saying they feel like Trump betrayed them, and they have very good relationships with their neighbors. And then, listen, I was telling someone this morning, and I'm serious. It seems to me that and I'm not saying that they're on that, but every gas station in Memphis is owned by an Iranian other than Kroger. Hold on, you guys. I'm trying to see what Trump has had to say.
Financially stable. I'm able to do everything that I want to do.
Answer the call and start your career as a corrections deputy. If you have a high school diploma and our community is your calling, visit scsocareers.com today. Are you up to the challenge?
Yeah, they paying good to be a corrections deputy. That was Maurice and I forget the other girl name.
Thank you very much. A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani. I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raisin-Kane, spectacular general, and all of the brilliant military minds involved in this attack. With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close. There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Wow. Do you all think that this was wise? I want to hear what y'all got to say. Do you all think that this was do you all think that it was necessary? Do you all think that this was either wise or necessary? I agree. We have to come together on one accord, and they keep us distracted with stuff. Deontay said it wasn't wise at all. Listen, if a country says that we have allies and we vowed to retaliate, that's a country that was already prepared. How do we know? Because Trump he's impulsive. How do we know that he was not lured into this war because they want to attack the American people in some shape or form. Now, somebody was just telling me that Code to the Vid has kicked back up and there's a stronger strand. Who's that, Cypress? That was saying that his cousin, girlfriend, or somebody that he knew just succumbed to, just lost their life recently this year because of Code to the Vid. They're not putting on the news how the emergency room and stuff is totally packed up with people that have the symptoms. Hell, y'all hear how I be hawking? I talks about people that hawk, but it seems like I can't get my throat clear. I be, and it seems like my throat because it's like it's something in the air. It's said this is about the central banks. I'm telling you, listen, when me and my sisters used to laugh at my daddy when we was growing up because he was always saying something. But I promise you now, I think about my dad a lot. I know y'all say she always be talking about her daddy. Since my dad has been passed away for the last couple years, I think about everything that he says now, all day, every day. My dad used to always say what they fussing about and what they mad about. What they fussing about is not what they mad about. So what they're telling us they're mad about ain't what they mad about. It's probably got something, just like they told us when we went to war before that it was 9/11, it was this, it was that, but it was about oil. NYC made a statement. It said Bill Gates is behind the Code to the Vid. Thank you, ZK. NWCC says, yes, it has came back up. We need several people a day with it. We see several. I'm telling you, they're saying the emergency rooms are packing out and they keep us preoccupied with all this other stuff when they're not telling you that Code to the Vid, there's a new strand and is running rampant, just like they're not talking about the A to the I to the D to the S. Almost one in what they say, one in 3 people got it or something. That's a lot of damn folks. Afghanistan was about the drugs. Iraq was about the oil. Wow. Yeah. So remember, I can remember just as good when they was talking about they was looking for Saddam Hussein. And they said they was looking for Saddam Hussein because Saddam Hussein was responsible for 9/11. And then all of a sudden they stopped talking about Saddam Hussein after they got him and killed him. They stopped talking about Saddam Hussein was behind 9/11. And then they started saying that bin Laden was behind 9/11. It went from Saddam Hussein to bin Laden. Let me tell y'all something. They have interns to come and work for government facilities. Okay. Of course, y'all know I work for federal lawyers. I work for the feds. Okay. So they have interns to come in there. These interns are of like they come from the Middle East. Okay. one of the interns that I was talking to the other day was talking about he had a vlog, and he said it was a political vlog that he has been talking about politics since he was 7 years old. He's been vlogging on American politics, even though he's from another country, since he was 7 years old. They are made, he said, they are made to study American politics. Then they come to the United States. I mean, he's an intern. He's going to be a lawyer. Okay? And he was just as astute and smart. And we started talking about this. It's funny, we started talking about this, and he was like, well, I said, I don't think he said, no, the American people don't pay attention. It's like he had an epiphany. He said, you're right. The American people don't pay attention to what's actually going on. They teach them to be extremely sharp. When you're taught to learn and you start a vlog at 7 years old, and he said it's a vlog that a lot of us is basically, he told me the name of him, asked him again. And we're told to be sharp, and we learn American politics. He's gonna be a good old lawyer. Okay, he is. He's gonna be a good one. You know, people are always talking about they want them a good old Jewish lawyer. When I was talking to that young man, and he is sharp. He's a research junkie. He already had a head start. Okay. They come from other countries. And like I said, I was just blown away when he says, oh, I said, so they teach you this in school? No, our families make us learn about American politics. And they started this vlog just talking about politics. I'm not either, M. Rose. I'm wondering if the train gonna be safe. I'm scared to get on the train. Check my okay. Check my inbox. Okay. Okay. You know, I'm scared. Do y'all think that it's safe to get on a train? It may not be safe to do that because that's computerized. Somehow, I would think. I'm kind of scared of that too. I might need to postpone my trip to New Orleans. A good lawyer knows the law. The best lawyer knows the judge. Here's the thing, Dorian. They become lawyers, and then they run and become judges. Okay? So a good lawyer knows the law. The best lawyer becomes a judge. And they're very loyal. They talk about how all these Jewish lawyers win. That's because, you know, if you got a Jewish judge, they're very loyal to their kind. We're the only ones that's not. So in you are right, Dorian. You're right. Greyface says, if you can't control the air, no country would be able to beat the U.S. It took 48 hours to beat Iraq. Think about 48 hours to take over an entire country. He says, but that judge ain't going to go against the law. whether they sit in cases. No, they're not. What they do is they find ways to show favor within the perimeter of the law. What's up, the hitter?
What's up with it? What's going on? Salute to everybody.
That live was off the chain last night. Everybody's still talking about that.
Man, that's what's up, man. I'm glad everybody had a good time, man. That's what we're here for.
I tried to hang, but once that one eye went down, the other one went down. I couldn't hang no more when the other one went down.
I already know. I ain't even tripping. It's a shame we had to have a good time last night and you wake up to this, you know what I'm saying? TB21 was good. But
so do you think that this was necessary, or you think we're going to regret it?
All I can say is Proverbs 16:18. Pride comes before destruction, and a haughty spirit come before the fall. And what you have right now is people that are power hungry, drunk with power. There's so much going on, so much collusion, so many people that are jockeying for position. And you got those people on the other side of the world, and they've had enough. You know what I'm saying? Like you was talking about the lawyer, 7 years old, with a blog. These people have had enough. Now you got North Koreans, you got the Chinese, you got the Russians, and the Iranians. They ain't going. And regardless to what anybody in office think, these folks are going to retaliate. How? We don't know. Pull out your hand sanitizer. Pull out your face mask. We don't know if it's going to be, on our soil. We don't know if they're going to hit an embassy. We don't know if they're going to release an EMP. We just don't know.
Or hit a federal building, because they come for the feds.
Exactly. So right now we just we bracing for the worst.
And you know what's so scary? You could tell that they're mad, but they're not letting their left hand know what their right hand is doing. When they talk about retaliation, they're not back. You could tell they're not backing down from it. They're avoiding the question. The ones that I've seen saying we can't trust America anymore.
Right, and that's what that's the message that they're getting out. That's the narrative they're painting. Listen, what is the non-proliferational treaty that they got where everybody's on one accord, and they're basically saying that they violated it in the worst way. You shouldn't be worried about what Iran's going to do. You should worry about what the people involved in this agreement is going to do. You see what I'm saying? Oh, it's a lot. I wish you would play that clip that you played of our fearless president one more time.
What, of Trump talking?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hold on.
And when she plays it, y'all just do an analysis of the body language, the language, period, just the cockiness, And I feel like this is something that he's been wanting to put into play for a long time. He wanted to be a wartime president, if that makes sense. Yeah. This makes him legendary, being a wartime president, and to also paint the narrative that the other side would never and could never. So, wild times we in.
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime, Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was destruction, nuclear enrichment capacity, and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people. Hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani. I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services at the capacity. I hope that's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raisin Kane, spectacular general, and all of the brilliant military minds involved in this attack. With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close. There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel, and God bless America. Thank you very much.
They just went and did that evil thing and put God in it.
This motherfucker think he's John Wayne. He think he's John Wayne, fam. This is crazy. All the cockiness and bravado, but that's what the people like. That's what the people like, but what the people don't see. And when I say the people, I'm talking about the baseline of people. The people that had to come out the woods to go to the polls and vote. Them people. And it's a lot. Way more than one would think. This is what they feed off of, but what they don't realize is there's a system in place for everybody to coexist. He just violated that system in a major way. What comes behind this, who knows? Honestly. McName Mace, what up, man?
Hey, McName Mace.
Cyber drink Coke, I drink Pepsi. Yeah.
That's what I drink, Pepsi. I'm looking for where Iran has responded.
I was watching it this morning.
You know what? Did you see where what channel it was on where Iran responded?
I'll send it to you. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see.
If you can find it, put it in the back office or whatever. The back.
I just found it. There it is.
You can't pull it up?
Oh, yeah. Man. Let's see. All right, here we go.
McNamara says Israel is playing victim. They've been
Right.
taking them folks' leaders out, man.
All right, let's see here. You got to let me share it. There we go.
Republic of Iran, His Excellency Abbas Araghchi has arrived in the conference hall taking place.
Them folks mad as hell.
Yes, indeed.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Very good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so glad to be with you this morning. Actually, we invited you yesterday for a briefing on the latest developments on the ground and, of course, on diplomatic process. Because I came here from Geneva, where we had our first ministerial meeting of Iran E3. And then I had here yesterday lots of useful, important meetings with the foreign ministers of our region. And we discussed about different initiatives and ideas existed for the peaceful settlement of this question. But as all of you know, we suddenly faced with the aggression by American forces to our nuclear facilities. The Islamic Republic of Iran condemns in the strongest terms the United States' brutal military aggression against Iran's peaceful nuclear facilities. It is an outrageous, grave, and unprecedented violation of the fundamental principles of the Charter of the United Nations and international law. The warmongering and lawless administration in Washington is solely and fully responsible for the dangerous consequences and far-reaching implications of its act of aggression. The US military attack on the territorial integrity and national sovereignty of a UN member state carried out with genocidal Israeli regime, carried out in collusion with the genocidal Israeli regime, has once again revealed the extent of the United States' hostility towards the peace-seeking people of Iran, who will never compromise over their independence and sovereignty. The Islamic Republic of Iran continue to defend Iran's territory, sovereignty, security, and people by all means necessary against not just US military aggression, but also the reckless and unlawful actions of the Israeli regime. While President Trump was elected on a platform of putting an end to America's costly involvement of forever wars in our part of the world, he has betrayed not only Iran by abusing our commitment to diplomacy, but also deceived his own voters by submitting to the wishes of a wanted war criminal who has grown accustomed to exploiting the lives and wealth of American citizens to further the Israeli regime's objectives. The US act of aggression against Iran's peaceful nuclear facilities constitutes not only a flagrant breach of the UN Charter, especially the prohibition of the use of force under Article 2, Paragraph 4, and the obligation to respect the state's territorial integrity and sovereignty, but also a violation of UN Security Council Resolution 2231.
cannot be emphasized enough how much of a devastating blow that the US, a permanent member of the Security Council, has dealt to the global non-proliferation regime. The Islamic Republic of Iran reminds the United Nations, the Security Council, the UN Secretary General, the International Atomic Energy Agency, and other relevant international bodies of their duty and responsibility to take urgent and decisive action in response to this breach of international law. Silence in the face of such blatant aggression will plunge the world into an unprecedented level of danger and chaos. Humanity has come too far as a species to allow a lawless bully to take us back to the law of the jungle. The Islamic Republic of Iran calls on the Security Council to convene an emergency session to unequivocally condemn the criminal act of aggression by the United States against Iran and to hold the administration in Washington accountable for its violations of fundamental principles of United Nations Charter and of norms of international law. The responsibility of the IAEA and its Director General, who through evidence bias in favor of warmongering parties paved the way for the current violence and bloodshed, is now clearer than ever. We call on the IAEA Board of Governors to immediately convene and carry out its legal responsibility in response to the dangerous US attack on Iran's peaceful nuclear facilities, all of which have been under the agency's full safeguards and monitoring. The world must not forget that it was the United States which, in the midst of a process to forge a diplomatic outcome, betrayed diplomacy by supporting the genocidal Israeli regime's launch of an illegal war of aggression on the Iranian nation. Not content with such malign actions, the United States itself has now also opted for a dangerous military operation and aggression against the people of Iran. In doing so, the US administration holds sole and full responsibility for the consequences of its actions, including the Islamic Republic of Iran's right to self-defense under the principles of the United Charter. In accordance with the UN Charter and its provisions allowing a legitimate response in self-defense, Iran reserves all options to defend its security interests and people. Thank you very much.
We will now be taking questions. We'd like to start with the Associated Press.
Sayın Bakan, müzakere kapıları hala açık mı
Distinguished Minister,
görüyorsunuz?
are the doors for negotiation still open?
Tamam.
Ms. T,
Şimdi ses geliyor mu?
Ms. T, you're gonna have to delete that comment.
Which one?
The one at the very bottom.
The one that says he needs to be stopped.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that we believe in freedom of speech, but these folks will get us up out of here.
Yeah.
Like that. And that's a mild comment, you know what I'm saying? But a salute to you. But we can't drop comments like that. You put our channel in jeopardy when you do stuff like that.
Can you hear me now?
Especially during these times.
Sayın Bakan,
Distinguished Minister, the question is
hala
as
kapıyı açık
follows.
mı görüyorsunuz?
Is the door for
They'll
negotiations
take it
still
as a
open?
threat.
Right.
Değil mi?
No translation. Interpreter, please speak.
Can you hear me, sir? Can you hear me, sir? In the English channel, can you hear me?
If I may just step in here and just translate real quick for my colleague. He's asking if there are still room for negotiations moving forward.
Arapça olarak diye sorabilirim eğer Arapça biliyorsan. It's all right now. You can translate is okay. Türkçe mi? Sayın Bakan Ahmet Gannam yine Televizyon Arabi. Müzakerelere hala kapı açık mı görüyorsunuz? Tahran'la görüşmüş müydünüz? Bugün nükleer tesislere vurulan nükleer tesislere ne kadar yüzde kaç zarar görmüştür?
What kind of damage has been incurred on the nuclear facilities? Is there any intermediary country like Turkey, like Saudi Arabia, like Qatar? Are you continuing your such activities of mediation? How do you see the process? Thank you.
Well, I have been in touch with Tehran, of course. I still do not have exact information about the level of damages, but I don't think it matters how much damages have been made. Attacking a nuclear facility by itself is an unforgivable violation of international law and should be condemned. Yesterday, as I said, I had discussion and talks with a number of foreign ministers of the region. Almost all of them are very much concerned and interested to play a role to end this aggression by Israel, of course. They were worried about a possible attack by the United States, but yesterday we were all talking about how to stop the Israeli aggression. Well, of course, the door for diplomacy should be always keep open, but this is not the case right now. My country has been under attack, under aggression, and we have to respond based on our legitimate right of self-defense. And we will do that as long as needed and necessary.
Diplomacy should be on the table.
But you can tell it's not. You can tell they told him that they don't want it.
Like, we concentrated on our next move. And it's fully within our right to make a move.
It seems like Donald Trump, it seems like to me, just from the energy of Donald Trump and them, I'm scared that they feel like it's going to be business as usual, as if they are not going, they think a threat is enough to keep them back.
Right. Right. That's a bully mind state. Now, I just punched you in the mouth. Now, you know what I'm saying? We can be cool, but you know what I'm saying? If you want to do something else, then I'm just going to have to mop the floor with you. And that's basically what Trump said. And these people, they're like, okay, you snuck me. Now it's our turn to sneak you. That's basically what he's saying.
I'd like to take a question from Al Jazeera.
You can't tell nobody how to respond.
Before you play it again, Hitter, they said Saudi Arabia backdoored Iran. How did they do that?
The Saudis backdoored Iran? I'm not sure. I heard that, and I may be mistaken, but I heard the default didn't already hit back at Israel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Last night when I was going to sleep, they were showing carnage from Israel from missile strikes. So I don't know. That's a lot of research got to be done on this. You know what I'm saying? You just on the edge of it. But I will be doing a lot of research on this. We got to we gotta inform ourselves, fam. I know we know the basis of a lot of this stuff that's going on, but yeah, we gotta inform ourselves, man. Cause these folks, you know, they on some cowboy type of time. They wanna do photo ops and talk big, and this is the war that we've always heard about, and it's right here. This is the mythical shit that you done heard about ever since you was a kid. Holy wars, wars and rumors of wars. I know your grandmama done tell. They said at the end of time there's gonna be wars and rumors of wars. That's what we at.
That's exactly where we're at.
Thank you very much, Minister. So you say that you need to respond right now, but we know that Iranians are known for their talents in negotiations, in diplomacy and trade. What would be the conditions after responding for Iran to come back to a negotiation table, maybe with the US as well? And Turkey has been offering that Ankara can mediate for a trilateral between Turkey, US, and Iran. What would be your response to that? Because right now the US is technically involved in this conflict. Thank you.
Well, I think it is irrelevant to ask Iran to return to diplomacy, because we were in the middle of diplomacy. We were in the middle of talks with the United States when Israelis blew it up. And again, we were in the middle of talks and negotiation with Europeans, happened only 2 days ago in Geneva, when this time Americans decided to blow it up. So we were in diplomacy, but we were attacked militarily. So it was not Iran, but the US who betrayed diplomacy. They betrayed negotiations. When at the middle of negotiations with us, they gave green light to Israelis, if not instructed them to attack Iran's nuclear facilities. I think they have proved that they are not men of diplomacy, and they only understand the language of threat and force. And this is very unfortunate. The United States showed that they have no respect to United Nations Charter. They have no respect to international law. They have no respect to any international law regarding, managing the board and facing challenges of the board. There is no red line that they have not crossed. And the last one, and the most dangerous one, was happened only last night.
Oh, wow.
When they crossed a very big red line by attacking nuclear facilities. I don't know how much room is left for diplomacy. We are now calculating the damages. And as I said, the damages are not only for our nuclear facilities, the damages are for the United Nations Charter. It was not only Iran's facilities which was bombed, it was also the United Nations Charter. It was also Non-Proliferation Regime and NPT, which was bombed last night by Americans. And it was the rule of law and international law which was bombed. So now we have to see how much room is left for diplomacy, and we will decide.
I'd like to hand over to TRT World.
Mr. Minister, the US President Donald Trump warned that Iran must now make peace, otherwise the future attacks, he says, would be far greater and much easier. So how is Tehran responding to that threats from Washington? Thank you.
I think it's not up to Iran to respond to that. The whole international community should respond of such a clear threat against the United Nations Charter. Iran has done nothing wrong. We don't.
He said, it's not up to Iran to respond. It's up to the whole entire international community to respond. That's a dog whistle. It's like, if you tired of these niggas, let's get together and let's put in work.
We do not understand why Iran should be attacked for a false accusation that Iran is seeking nuclear weapons. It's now more than 20 years that we are trying to prove that our peaceful nuclear program is in fact peaceful and would remain peaceful. We negotiated for a long time with the so-called P5+1, and we came to a deal which the whole world celebrated as an achievement of diplomacy. And then it was the US who withdrew from that deal and reimposed their sanctions and restarted their threats. Again, we were negotiating with the same administration. Then all of a sudden they decided to attack us, first by Israelis, then by themselves. And now they are threatening us for more attacks. So it's not up to Iran, but it's up to international community to condemn this, to prevent this. Otherwise, there will be nothing left for the international law, for the security at the world level. The Security Council should play its role, should play its responsibility to condemn and prevent these kind of threats.
It's like he's sending out a code to let them know it's time to go to war.
That's exactly what he's doing. That's exactly what he's doing.
And I always felt like it was a strategy for like the Iranians and the Iraqis and all of them to come into the United States and buy all of the gas stations.
Mm-hmm. Not only that, but learn our customs, our traditions, how we move, and now we're here.
Because I mean, that's a weapon right there. I mean, owning all the gas stations. I mean, it's 2 or 3 on every block. You can blow up blocks and miles and miles and miles of neighborhoods.
Absolutely. So, and that's what it is. It's a call to action for everybody that is tired of living under the tyranny of the West. So, yeah, it's not good. And I'm not speaking from a place of fear. I'm speaking from a place of intelligence. Whether you are the most patriotic American alive or not, we all know right from wrong.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. We defend our territorial integrity, our sovereignty, and our people. And I'm so glad that our people are now fully understand what injustice they are doing against the Iranian people. They are united and in solidarity with the government, and we stand firm against any aggression.
Next, CNN Turk.
And I'm going to tell you something. The ideology is going to be Iran today, us tomorrow. And that type of ideology will make people join hands. That's all I'm going to say on that.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Minister, how do you assess the West's stance on Israel massacres? No one seems to mention Israel's allegedly illegal nuclear weapons. The German chancellor even said Israel is doing the dirty work for us. So what is your response? Thank you.
Well, what should I say? you said everything. That Iran is under attack by a nuclear-armed superpower and a nuclear-armed regime. And Iran, as you know, is a non-nuclear armed country. That should be certainly condemned. If not, the whole non-proliferation regime would be undermined and would be defeated. Iran is a committed member of NPT, but NPT is not able to protect us. So why a country like Iran or other countries who are interested to have a peaceful nuclear energy should rely on NPT for their peaceful activities? It is very unfortunate that Israel is doing, as the German Chancellor called, a dirty job. And by the way, they supported that dirty job. It's a shame. They know that Israel is doing a dirty job and they support it, and they give it every right to do it, and they call it defending itself. It's really a shame. Pardon? Well, I think I'm not in a position to reveal what we are going to do in response to what Americans did last night. I just talked about the fact that NPT failed to protect Iran from and its peaceful nuclear program. And this is a serious challenge.
Next, we'd like to take a question from IRIB. IRIB, if I can get a question from IRIB.
Yılmaz Varlar, Türker Gazete, Türkiye Cumhuriyeti'nde çıkan gazete.
I'm from a
Bir
Turkic
de Net Haber
newspaper
Ajans.
and also
Sayın
representing
Bakan,
Net News Agency.
Çin'in İran'a destek verdiği söyleniyor.
It is indicated that
Bu
China
konuda
is
Amerika ve
supporting Iran.
İsrail'in tarafından caydırıcı olmasını nasıl
How do
değerlendiriyorsunuz?
you
Bir de
evaluate its
Rusya ile olan
deterrence power
ilişkiler
vis-a-vis
münasebetleri,
USA and
beklentilerinizi öğrenebilir
Israel?
miyim?
And
Teşekkür
can we
ediyorum.
learn your expectations about your relations with the Russian Federation?
Well, there was a problem with the translation, or I think with the device, it doesn't work properly. I understood the last part of your question. Well, I'm going to Moscow this afternoon, and I have a meeting with President Putin tomorrow morning.
You don't want to answer nothing about no
Russia
peace, period.
is a friend of Iran, and we enjoy a strategic partnership, and we always consult with each other and coordinate our positions. Russia has been a part and the participants of JCPOA, so they have been always a party to nuclear negotiations. And even in the past 2-3 months that we were negotiating with the United States, we always briefed our Russian friends about the latest about any progress or lack of progress in our talks. Well, I will have serious consultations with the Russian president tomorrow, and we continue to work with each other. Russia is also a permanent member of the Security Council, And we know that they were trying, together with China, to introduce a resolution to the Security Council for the cessation of hostilities. Obviously, now the situation has been changed, and I will have discussion with them at how it should be proceed.
The final question from IRIB, if we can hand over the microphone to the gentleman right there. Thank you.
Check out Cyprus.
Okay.
از خدمتتون که دیروز آقای اردوغان صحبت‌هایی داشتن در مورد میانجیگری فکر می‌کنید نقش ترکیه در این رابطه به چه ترتیب خواهد بود میتونه ترکیه
Thank you.
در واقع در این رابطه
Yesterday, President Erdogan mentioned a mediation instrument. Can Turkey handle such a
من دیروز ملاقات
diplomacy
بسیار
or
خوبی رو با
mediation
جناب آقای اردوغان رئیس جمهور محترم ترکیه داشتم. هم ترکیه و هم
had very productive meetings with the President of the Republic of Turkey yesterday, and I also had contacts with some of the countries of the region. Some of the countries of the region, such as Turkey, are indicating that they could be mediating so that the attacks from Israel could stop. I do believe that I'm going to start some actions and discussions about this to prevent this American aggression. Turkey very definitely has condemned the Israeli attacks, and also the countries of the region have also condemned these attacks. Now all the countries of this region and the Islamic countries are condemning the massacres and the killing of Israel. We, as members of the OIC and the foreign ministers, we had a special meeting on the situation in Iran. Turkey was the chair of this session, and in relation to condemning Israeli attacks, a statement was shared to end this attack, and they indicated that they were on our side. The attack last night was a big murder. It was not just an attack against the Iranian people, but also the laws and the provisions of the United Nations were also violated.
آمریکا با این کار خودش ضربه بسیار بزرگی رو به صلح و امنیت بین‌الملل زد.
was also damaged.
به اعتقاد ما آنچه که شورای امنیت و جامعه بین‌الملل باید باهاش به عنوان تهدید علیه صلح و امنیت بین‌الملل برخورد بکنه دقیقاً رفتار آمریکاست که هم نظام بین‌الملل رو به چالش کشیده و هم منطقه ما رو به سمت تنش و آشوب پیش میبره و این بسیار خطرناک است.
And we have important problems and pain in our region because of this, creating an important damage. The attack last night showed once again that the Zionist regime of Israel
و برعکس به خاطر صدماتی که متحمل شده در اثر دفاع قهرمانان نیروهای مسلح ایران در شرایط بحران قرار گرفته و چاره‌ای جز این که از آمریکا کمک بخواد نداشته و دخالت آمریکا دقیقاً برای نجات رژیم صهیونیستی یا بهتره بگیم نجات نخست وزیر این رژیم صورت گرفت و اینکه چقدر
of the Zionist regime. This was the reason why America acted this way, and this shows that the White House is under the influence of this individual called Netanyahu, and this is a shame for the all American citizens. We continue to defend our country in a heroic manner. Our armed forces are ready. Our people with high level of self-confidence and with high level of motivation is ready to defend itself. the Iranian people's national honor has been damaged, and to win this back, they will defend themselves. We will never take a step back from our own law, from our honor.
We do
from
have
our
time for one or two more
and,
questions. I'd like to hand over to Bloomberg Haberturk.
She working overtime, Jack.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Minister, thank you very much for doing this. And I'll come from Haberturk and Bloomberg HD. You said attacks at nuclear facilities are red line, and you are calculating your response. So here is the question. What are the options? Are you going to retaliate at US bases in the region, or are you going to considering to close the Strait of Hormuz? And one more question as well. 2 times while you are at the table of negotiation, Israel and US attacked your soil. So do you still have the same level of trust to Western diplomacy? Thank you.
Hit the like button if y'all have. Support the channel. Donate to people that's actually giving informative content, not just something that's going to satiate your lust for mess. Like, seriously. Donate to the channel. Hit the like button. Support something real, man.
There are a variety of options available to us, and that's it. We never trusted Western countries when we negotiated them, and there are now even more reasons why we shouldn't trust them at all. Of course, the way for diplomacy should be always remain open. But as I said, we are not in the situation right now to decide how to engage in diplomacy once again and with whom. So let's wait for our response first. And when the aggression is ended, we decide how to engage in diplomacy once again.
Next, over to NTV.
Salute TV 21. Appreciate you.
Mr. Minister, thank you.
These folks said, let us get our lick back, and then we'll talk about meeting at the table.
Many dialogues with Mr. Steve Witkoff, the U.S. representative, during the negotiations.
TV21.
Did he call you after the attack? Who you talk with? Did you ever
and you
talk
can tell
with
they've already
Western
planned how they're going to get their lick back. They knew this was going to happen.
Did they call you?
What happened to Cyprus? Didn't that Cyprus up?
Yeah, he dropped down.
Mr. Witkoff was indirect
through
the Omani foreign minister as intermediator, to whom I'm very grateful. And when the talks were stopped because of the U.S. aggression,
salute SL, appreciate you.
We are still receiving messages from
Thank
Americans
you, SL.
through different channels, Oman in particular, and there are also others who are passing the messages.
You know
of
what,
the United
SL? A
States
lot of
to
people
us.
moving to Brazil.
And if needed, we pass.
Isn't that the Amazon, though?
Those messages through intermediators.
I don't know. They got pretty women.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. I think we are done.
Yes, we've come to the end of that press briefing. We'd like to thank the foreign minister for holding that briefing after the latest developments in his country, Iran, and in the wider Middle East region. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you indeed.
So that's where we at. They calling out to everybody in the East. Hey, let's get it. Let's get it.
And you could tell Proof B that's how they feel. He said, I ain't gonna lie, it's hard to let someone do something to me and I don't do anything about it. You could tell he does not, he tried to walk around that peace situation. They can't see it right now because they feel like what happened was unnecessary because they said they tried to negotiate.
Mm-hmm. Willie D just dropped a live stream entitled Breaking Trump Triggers Act of World War III. All major cities in the U.S. on high alert. New York, L.A., Houston, Chicago, etc.
I do think that government buildings definitely need to be on high alert.
Right.
Because wasn't the when 9/11 happened, wasn't that a federal building? The tower.
Absolutely. The towers, the Pentagon. Hell, they came short of the White House. They were trying to hit the White House.
They were trying to hit the White House. They shot it down, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we might have to go to Brazil, big homie.
It seemed like to me Trump voice is kind of it's kind of shaky. I don't think he's sure. Because when you see that they're quiet like this and they're saying we can't trust the United States, there is a call for war with all their people are saturated throughout the United States and own gas stations. These people don't have an issue with dying for what they believe in.
Right. Yeah, I'm telling you, you got to listen to the wordplay. When have you ever, and I mean ever, heard DJ T say, "Thank you, God"? This is a holy war.
Mm-hmm.
This is a holy war, and you heard rumors of it. This is the holy war, World War III, as we know it right now.
I wonder what they're gonna, because they're gonna get their lick back. They said that they were gonna retaliate. I don't think bullying is gonna be able to keep them back. Didn't Trump know that these people don't have issues with dying? They'll put that. We saw what they did with the what happened after 9/11. They will attach situations, you know what I'm talking about, to their children because they feel like that's an honor to go blow up something.
He don't have a problem with it. See, he is establishing a legacy, and he has hinted and dropped subliminals many times. He wants to be your last president. Come on, man. Read between the lines, man. He want to be the one to step on the front line and establish that reputation as a wartime president and come out on the victorious end of it. And shit, if he do that, he want to die now.
Mm-hmm.
Real talk.
I agree with you, Ken. He said 9/11 was an inside job. Of course, the people that said that the towers actually blew up at the bottom first, they didn't they end up just mysteriously dying?
Yeah. That's a rabbit hole that, it's ever so often I end up falling down that rabbit hole and it's so hard to get out, just how the planes hit the buildings and then almost, they didn't get it right, almost simultaneous explosions as those planes hit the buildings. This is a lot of stuff that's, don't seem right about that whole situation. But sometimes you need a push, and when I say you need a push, the people need a push. When that happened, you had teenagers, you had college kids saying, damn, a 4-year college, I'm going to fight for my country. I give people meaning in life. And that's what that was. That was that nudge. That was that battery in your back to let you go and fight an old man's war.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I hate to say it, but that's what it is. You know, and we all seen the video of, you know, Secret Service walking into the kindergarten classroom as George Bush was reading to the students, and they stooped over and said something to him in his ear, and it's like, man, he already know this is a play. He know what you finna say. He's just trying to figure out how he gonna react to what you finna say, and then they make a swift exit out, and you know, it's all written. Shout out to Nas. It was written for real. Just like New Orleans when
when the levees broke.
Ken, you are a conspiracy theorist. I'm gonna give you that. You're a conspiracy theorist, but yeah, I agree with that one too. Now that one, what you said about Saddam Hussein and Bin Laden still being around, I don't know if I can jump down that rabbit hole with you, but I give you that one. Yeah.
I agree, TB21. She said we got issues in our own community. Now we as people got to worry about major cities. It's scary to me because we see like what they do. Like remember in France, and then we had someone to replicate that in New Orleans when he got the truck and just ran over a mass of people. That was something that had happened years ago in either France or London, remember? And that was like a war, a terrorist attack. So, Miss T, you see where the Chinese people tried to sneak some shit in the U.S. to poison our food supply? No. They got caught, but believe the real smugglers got in. Oh, my God.
And these are the type of things we're going to have to be on guard for. Yeah. High alert, me, high alert. You can't have people that just trying to get a check in them positions. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't that guy, what's that? Wasn't
Another
that guy? Yeah, he was from he was I want to say he was radicalized, but he was an African American from Beaumont, Texas. Playing around on the internet, falling down these rabbit holes, man. You can never underestimate how people searching on this internet can become confused, persuaded, manipulated. Yeah, we've seen it in our own little Memphis sector. We like to call it the Dolph sector. We've seen it in this sector. So we know it can happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because so many people went down a rabbit hole that I didn't ever think could happen as it relates. You're absolutely right.
Right.
Now, I wasn't around for the Mo3 sector, but I heard it happening with that too.
It didn't get as bad as it did with the situation with Dolph. With the Mo3 sector, it's just a bunch of people that wanted to scratch, you know what I'm saying? Wanted to cuss each other out and drag each other in, you know. But the Dolph situation got crazy from the jump. You got people that never went live, never dropped no content on their channel. All of a sudden, they got 2,000 people in the live stream. They raising ungodly super chats. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people got taken for a lot of money in the name of Dolph. I'm just gonna say that.
That's the truth.
Yeah, that never happened in the 3 sector.
It says that this is about the central bank in Iran not being controlled by the Rothschilds, just like Gaddafi in Africa. I do believe that. And I think Minister Farrakhan spoke about this, that they actually, I believe it was up under the leadership of President Obama, that they took out Gaddafi, and he was doing great things for his people.
Yeah. That's crazy.
But I think it was more so Hillary Clinton that wanted him gone. Gaddafi was over what, Libya? I wonder who's over Libya now. You don't ever hear anyone speak about Libya.
It's an afterthought. Yeah, it's an afterthought now. They got who they wanted.
They wasn't going to. They must be backing the American dollar now, because I think that he was backing away from that some kind of way. I forget exactly what it was, but he was going to make them more so independent.
It's American control now. Okay, that makes sense. Gaddafi wanted peace, and he was given $5,000 a month just to be a citizen, and free health care and school. Jesus Christ.
And free land. People were going to farm, and free land.
Shout out to Muammar Gaddafi, man. That's crazy. You want to unite all of Africa and create one currency. Yeah, that can't happen. Yeah, can't happen. Because as we all know, this is one world government. You know what that means.
One person controls it all, or wants to control it all.
New world order. That's exactly what that means.
You know, I think about when Reagan and old man Bush was running. I think about now, especially how old man Bush used to talk about that new world order. We had no idea as children and stuff what the hell he was talking about. Now it's coming to pass.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My old heads in the late 90s, we used to sit up and smoke weed and laugh and joke and freestyle, and then we'll get off into our serious conversation. And we used to always talk about it. I had a homeboy, dumb as hell, dumb as a box of rocks. Shout out to him. He would always say, ain't no way we're going to have one government and everything going to be on credit cards. Ain't no rapper going to be able to put no credit card up to their head or floss with no credit card. Yeah, that was an actual comment. But yeah, y'all see it's here.
Mm-hmm.
It's here.
You got some fast food restaurants will let you know, or some stores, we do not accept, we don't take cash. They flat out stop taking it, a lot of them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And now it's so taboo for people to carry cash. It really is.
Yeah. People scared to carry cash because they feel like it's going to make them a target. You know, it's going to make them a target. They don't want to help nobody, so I don't have no cash. Yeah. And I was just thinking the same thing. Yeah, fam. That's where we at. The shit we talked about 20 and 30 years ago, we are here standing flat foot in the middle of it, and it's crazy. It's crazy.
We know the 4th of July is coming up, where lots of people be gathered in one place and all of that. That's scary.
That is scary. That is scary. Yeah, that is scary.
Because you could tell that they are definitely, I think they are, they knew he was going to do it. They had already played with it.
Yeah, it's almost like he got goaded into doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said it's some countries in Europe that only accept crypto. That's it.
That's wild. Where in the world is Elon Musk?
He ain't said a word since him and got into it. We know that Elon Musk is just as vindictive.
Right.
Did he get all this shit started and then he knows the secrets? Is he going to start working with them?
Exactly. Elon Musk can show up on the other side of the world and it wouldn't make it would just be like, okay, It is.
Isn't he from Africa?
Yes. Yes, he's from Africa. Man, it's scary how our leadership are so gung ho and tunnel vision, you know. And I'm pretty sure that they see, you know what I'm saying, the optics and what's going on the outside. And I'm pretty sure they keeping very close tabs on Elon Musk, but y'all let this man all the way in.
Mm-hmm.
Let him see how everything was done. You let him trim crazy numbers from the economy, kill so many jobs. And
So
now
how did Elon Musk and Trump fall out? Was that ever made public?
It was. I can't remember. Let me find out.
He says Australia has warships on the way too. If he did get something started, your president gave him the tools to work with. Yeah. That man has bought so much land in Memphis. I wonder why everybody comes to Memphis to. That's because the Memphis politicians let them. Since Elon is like the activity book we had back in the day. Where is Waldo?
That's why I said, where in the world? He could literally be anywhere in the world. Mm-hmm. You want to look at this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Been watching President Trump in the Oval Office with the German Chancellor, and a lot to get to here, but the most interesting and perhaps important issue, political issue and policy issue, is what President Trump said about his now former friend, at least it seems, Elon Musk. And I want to go to Elena Treen at the White House. Elena, it seems as though we saw kind of the unraveling of a bromance real time. And what our viewers saw was what it turned out to be one side of a fight. The other side was Elon Musk real time using his platform X to respond and kind of push back on many of the things that President Trump said. We're going to show our viewers what happened, but I want you to kind of give a sense of what brought us to this extraordinary moment just a few days after he gave a big glowing goodbye to Elon Musk from the White House.
Yeah, it's not even a week, Dana, since we saw them both praise each other from the Oval Office days later now. And actually the first time reporters are actually having the opportunity to ask the president about this since that moment. We're now seeing this completely fraying relationship on full display. It's very remarkable given just how close I know, my colleagues here at the White House, and I know that the president and Musk have been for months now, really him being one of the president's favorite people on this White House complex. I want to give you a sense just of some of the key things I took away from the president's comments. Overall, though, I would note as well that his tone was strikingly somber when discussing this. And really, you could see that it saddened him. Almost. You could see kind of the emotion in his tone and on his face as he was discussing this. He said, quote, "I've always liked Elon." He said I was very surprised. He said he would have rather had him criticize him directly rather than the spending bill that the president has been working tirelessly with his team to try and muscle through Congress. He said, and this to me was maybe the most notable quote from the president. He said, "Look, Elon and I had being a very key word here, had a great relationship. I don't know if we will anymore." He said he was very disappointed in Musk. He went on to add that Musk knew about the, quote, inner workings of the bill very intimately, and claimed that he only started to take issue with it and had a problem with it once he left the administration, but also once he learned of the breadth of the electric vehicle mandate, really the credits that are being revoked in this bill that, of course, could and will impact Tesla. We also did see, as you mentioned, Dana, Musk respond to this just moments ago on X. He had really been posting throughout the entire time the president was speaking, but then he did post, made this one post linking to a video of the president making these comments about him, and said, keep the EV mandates in the bill, but get rid of the pork and the rest of it. He said you could have an ugly big bill or a slim and beautiful bill. So clearly showing, actually at the top of that post, he said, quote, whatever, really showing, where he stands on this. All to say, I mean, if you just look at months ago, particularly leading up to him being in the White House and then ever.
So this is the start of it. They fell out over this GOP bill.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And it just, mushroomed into something else. True Aquarius, what's up?
Since the president, would parade Musk around Mar-a-Lago and his different properties with him, always had him by his side at the dinner table, has continued to allow him to walk into the Oval, unannounced whenever he wanted. This is very far from that, and it's very unclear now where this relationship is going to go.
Well, I think we're watching where it's going, and it's going pretty downhill pretty fast. Elena, thank you so much. I am joined here by some really terrific reporters, CNN's Kristen Holmes, Josh Jossie of the Wall Street Journal, Zolan Kanu-Youngs of the New York Times, and CNN's Kylie Atwood. Let's just start by recapping one of the comments that President Trump made about Elon Musk.
You saw a man who was very happy when he stood behind the Oval desk. And even with the black eye, I said, do you want a little makeup? We'll get you a little makeup. But he said, no, I don't think so, which is interesting and very nice. He wants to be who he is. So you could make that statement too, I guess. Look, Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if we're well anymore. I was surprised because you were here. Everybody in this room practically was here as we had a wonderful send-off. He said wonderful things about me. You couldn't have nicer, said the best thing. He's worn the hat. Trump was right about everything. And I am right about the great, big, beautiful bill.
So one can look at this as a backdoor. Because if we're being perfectly honest about this, Elon single-handedly put this man in office. Ungodly amounts of cash he funded into this man's campaign. So, put who you want in there. That way, it's easier to, topple over when that time comes. Maybe this is the time. I don't know. We just got to see.
And that's what this is all about right now.
Trump backdoor Eli?
I think Elon backdoor Trump. If you want to make a situation unstable, you get an unstable person in there in control, and you can pretty much manipulate and control the whole situation.
Well, he's basically gotten what he wanted.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now we don't know where he is. He's not saying anything on social. So, this is the time that Elon Musk will be speaking 2 or 3 times every 10 minutes. He ain't said nothing. He just talking about Teslas and all this old jazz.
And I just want to make that clear to our viewers. I'm sure you understand that this relationship basically exploded yesterday when Elon Musk started really aggressively putting on his social media platform that this bill that he is desperate to get through the Senate after it passed the House is bad. He wrote, kill the bill, and many other things. And so you just saw the president say what we just heard. He said, people leave my administration, they love us, and then at some point they miss it so badly. Some of them embrace it. Some of them become hostile. Trump derangement syndrome.
So this is really fascinating because as of yesterday at the exact same time, maybe a few hours later into the afternoon, I spoke to a number of Trump's top advisors who still were unsure of how he was going to respond to Elon Musk. There were still a lot of questions. He was raising questions with them as to, do you think this is just a business decision? Do you think he's lashing out at this because of these electric vehicle mandates? It's probably something he has to do now that he's leaving the government, and it's all about the business. Obviously, Donald Trump likes to make things about money and business, kind of his way of saying, okay, maybe that's what he's doing here. He was angry when that first tweet came out 2 days ago during the briefing, but then he also had a lot of questions as to where this was coming from, because he did believe that Elon knew about the EV mandate. Mm-hmm. His team does believe that this is all about business, all about the EV mandate, that this is all about these credits that Elon Musk believes are unfair, which he actually
And it's not just that it's big and full of pork.
Right, it's not pork, it's not what he's saying there. But I think the most telling thing about this is that clearly we've hit a new marker since then, which is we had a great relationship. I don't know if we will anymore. And I can tell you that members of Trump's team have reached out to Elon Musk. No response. Donald Trump and Elon Musk have not spoken.
Yeah, and this was bubbling, though, for several months. Mm-hmm. I mean, Trump had said publicly, repeatedly, that he and Elon are close and vice versa. But there's been lots of frustrations that have happened between the two men over political endorsements, over Elon trying to get a briefing of the Department of Defense, over China, over some of the other staff fights inside the White House. And Trump's team was ready to see Elon go. There's no doubt about it. Trump himself wanted to have an event on Friday and try to have an amicable breakup here, in part because Elon is such a wealthy donor. He is the richest man in the world. He fueled hundreds of millions of dollars for this campaign. He is a political force to a large degree.
Elon had an agenda.
One of the main ways that Republicans communicate. I mean,
and
he's gonna make all that back.
And he spent $288 million on it.
And I bet he already made it back just from the favors that Trump has given him.
Right. You got government contracts. You know, they said when the fallout happened, he lost a herd of money in the Tesla stock. But he can get that back. That's nothing. But what is he doing now? Who is he giving money to now is the big question.
That's true. Why? Because Iran seems confident. He may be working with them. He knows the ends of the United States.
Absolutely. That's very valuable. That is very valuable. You know what I'm saying? That's a rally burger and fries to Elon. You're right. 288 million. Some change.
How did he make all that money? Tesla?
Well, I mean, it's generational wealth. You know what I'm saying? His dad was a genius. His dad married a woman from Canada. And yeah, I forget his dad's name, but his dad's got a crazy past too. You know what I'm saying? But Elon is literally a genius. He's a genius. You know what I'm saying? So maybe we ought to do something on that. Do a little research on Elon Musk and Elon Musk's dad, because that history is crazy. But yeah, they from South Africa. And richest dude in the world, man. That's crazy. Absolute genius.
Some of the relationships Trump has had, a breakup here could hurt him too. I mean, there really is a lot of caution here that I think his people are trying to navigate. Yeah. Okay, where are we going from here? Because we're playing with live, live rounds.
This is what you were referring to. You see on the screen, this is a video of the two of them in the Oval Office, which, by the way, I don't want to let it go unmentioned that the president made fun of the black eye that Elon Musk had. I mean, that was very clear that he wanted to put that in there. But when it comes to the substance of what we're talking about here, I also want to underscore that they are kind of saying the quiet part out loud with regard to Elon Musk's business interests. And the fact that there was even a question inside the White House, maybe by the president himself, because he just said it in the Oval Office, that Elon Musk doesn't like this bill because it's not good for his business. The EV mandate, electric vehicle mandate, goes away. I mean, they're not even pretending that there's no conflict of interest here. And that was one of the things that Musk responded to on X real time. He said, false, this bill was never shown. Well, first he said, that's not about that. And then he said, false, this bill was never shown to me even once and was passed in the dead of night so fast that almost no one in Congress could even read it. That was.
Who is Elon Musk that a bill need to be shown to him before it goes through Congress?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You are not even a citizen. You're not even a naturalized citizen, man. That shit is crazy.
Was in response to Trump saying he was disappointed with Musk because he knew the inner workings of this bill better than anyone sitting here.
You had the president in the Oval Office essentially say that Elon Musk's criticism is a matter of personal grievance. It's a matter of the fact that he thinks that this will hurt his business. Elon, up until this point, when he has shared criticism for this bill, has said that it's about undermining really the effort he took to cut federal bureaucracy, reduce the deficit as well. And he said that it's about sort of fiscal responsibility. Here you have the president completely saying that that is not true and that it's really actually about somebody trying to protect his business, which is interesting also because Elon was with the administration when the Trump administration was rolling back EV subsidies that the Biden administration put forward as well. So that's another detail I add here. But it's remarkable to see here just the shift in the past couple days. I asked the president last Friday about reports of Elon Musk's drug use as well. And he went out of his way to say that that is not a concern, that is not troubling to him, that he still stands by Elon Musk. All of that now to this point where now you have criticism against a signature part of Trump's domestic agenda. And now he's saying, well, this is someone who's just worried about their business, essentially.
Shout out to that funny looking dude. That dude funny looking as hell, man. Yeah, but that's basically where this comes from, and Lord have mercy. We gotta watch close to see where he's gonna turn up next. You know.
Yeah, I agree. This is scary though. You could tell Iran is confident because they got people backing them.
Right.
They are not backing down.
Absolutely. And you can tell that they've been in talks for a minute, not only with China and Russia, they've been in talks for a minute with people. And that's why I feel like they may have been stalling out the president on these nuclear arms talks. Just looking from the outside looking in.
So so is Russia an ally of theirs? Because I thought Trump and Putin was cool.
Little bro that was on the stand in Istanbul, he said he gonna be in Moscow this evening. He gonna meet with Putin in the morning.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Well, that's scary. I thought Trump and Putin was an ally. Russia and the United States.
Evidently, Iran are allies with Russia as well, and they're allies with China, and a few other people that weren't named. I want to say North Korea, but I may be wrong.
Now, the Kim is over. Is he over Korea?
He's over China? North Korea. Kim Jong-un is North Korea.
We know he does not care for the United States, period. And he believes in chemical destruction.
Right. Cypress, what's up with it, bro?
Psych dog, you back up here?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's froze over man or what. Oh, phone.
So what you think about this, Cypress? You think we got something to be bothered about?
We most definitely got something to be bothered about. Anytime China and Russia is talking about bagging, it's something to be worried about.
Yeah. I agree.
And I think North Korea gonna get some kind of way find their way involved in this kind of. So now South Korea don't side with the United States.
South Korea, isn't that what Kim is over? South Korea?
No, he's over North Korea.
Okay. I hope so.
Yeah, so South Korea gonna side with the United States. North Korea gonna side with Russia. And Britain gonna possibly side with the United States. Outside of that, this is something to be worried about.
Well, I'm definitely worried.
Cause people gotta think like Russia got the nuclear capability, and China got endless money to spend on this. This is a problem. Everybody cracking jokes and all this about this, but this gonna be a problem, yeah.
Here they're saying that the nuclear facility was captured. There are images on satellite that shows devastation from bomb. I know TMZ strikes, but I don't think it's a video though.
This man said, bro, we not worried about anything over here. This not let. And y'all need to be worried, bro. Name a country that's on that South Korea. Okay. South Korea is
Oh my
on
God.
Oh.
Look, they're devastated. Scenes of devastation in Iran. Iran Foreign Minister, what is it? Abbas Araghchi condemned the attack on the country, and the United States is bracing for retaliatory attacks.
Yeah, that's the aftermath of what they call a bunker buster. Mm-hmm.
Lord have mercy. Well, it just, I just hope no. I don't want to see anything attacked. But I know, but they normally go for what, the bigger cities, like what? See, they'll probably have they're not going to do the same thing twice. They've already hit New York. They would be expecting New York. They might just say, let's go to a small city, take out, because their people is everywhere.
Elon put Memphis on the map.
Yes, he did. Oh, yes, he did.
You know, I don't know, man.
They going out to LA and they going out to LA for sure.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Jawanda.
LA and New York, they going after them two powerhouses for sure.
Primo says we got past China's and Iran's stealth radar defensive technology and did what we did in Iran. What you think would happen if they tried to do something here and we got warships over there?
Well, the thing is, all of that's good when you're playing fair. But we learn from the Afghans that a lot of times these people don't play fair because they don't have the capabilities to play fair.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And these people are hurt. You could tell. They just keep saying we cannot trust the United States because they violated them. So evidently they was leading them to believe that there was going to be some type of truce or something.
Then they, like a thief in the night, came through and made it happen.
So
But
who
they
do
don't want
you?
peace. They don't want peace. They want to retaliate because they got people backing them.
Yeah, they got two of the powerhouse backing them. And then Russia and China. Russia is mad because they want to put the Soviet back together. The United States funded Ukraine. So they got a gripe with this. China, they raised the tariff up, so they got a problem with this.
And this is what I was seeing last night. This is Tel Aviv, and this is Iran. If you can show it, Miss T.
Okay.
This is Iran getting their leg back on. This was last night.
They did this in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
What did they go and hit?
They didn't say what they hit. That was short. But they didn't say what they hit. But they did drop. They did drop some missiles. Okay. This is short, but it shows more of what was done on yesterday.
Okay.
Ready when you are.
Oh, wow.
President Donald Trump took a historic resolution, a resolution which can change the entire trajectory of the Middle East to a better future, and also defended and protected Israel and the interests of the United States of America.
What the hell, the United States? Why does the United States got an interest in Israel? They said Putin is live, hitter.
Oh yeah? Where's he live at?
Where is he live at, McName Ace?
That's
Jarrell said that's not the real Israel. Now, here is not on mute. I can hear him. Nene says you're on mute, but I can hear him.
$300 million, $340 million. Russia has about 145, 150 million now. And we are spending incomparable money, simply incomparable money, on arms. And we are going to attack NATO. What nonsense is this? And everyone understands that this is nonsense. And they are deceiving their population in order to get money out of the budget. 5%, 3.5%, plus 1.5%. And this explains the economic and social failures. Of course, the FRG is the leading economy of the European Union. It balances on the verge of recession. Why, by the way? I still cannot understand why the Federal Republic refused to use Russian energy sources We supplied Ukraine with energy from other European countries. Ukraine receives transit money from us up to $400 million a year. And Germany, for some reason, refused to receive Russian energy. Why? There is simply no rational explanation. Why? Volkswagen is dying, Porsche is dying, the glass industry is dying, the pressure sphere is dying. What for? I will buy a ticket for the evil conductor and will not go. Is that so? This is nonsense. Therefore, if the countries want to increase their budget even more, this is their business, but it will not benefit anyone. They will, of course, create additional risks. Yes, they will. But this is not our decision. This is the decision of the countries. I believe that this is absolutely irrational and pointless. And there are no threats from Russia, of course. This is just nonsense. Yes, Dr. Goebbels said it yesterday. The more incredible a lie is, the sooner they will believe it. And someone, probably in Europe, believes it. It would be better to deal with saving their automotive industry and increasing their earnings.
My wife studied in...
They were not speaking on Iran and Israel and
No, they're not.
Let's see what else we can find, y'all.
I think they got their mind made up.
And see, with them not speaking on shoot. I said Russia's mad about being kicked out of the UN.
Damn, 2 hours and 14 minutes. Putin says Russia has shared peace proposals with Iran and Israel. That was a day ago. Let's just check this out.
Asked if he is worried that the world could be heading toward World War III in this situation. Here's what he said.
It is disturbing. I am speaking without any irony, without any jokes. Of course, there is a lot of conflict potential. It is growing, and it is right under our noses, and it affects us directly. And this requires, of course, not only our careful attention to the events taking place, but also the search for solutions. The search for solutions, preferably by peaceful means.
All right, very interesting. Let's bring in Fox News senior correspondent Benjamin Hall, host of American Exceptionalism, available on Fox Nation. Ben, always good to have you with us. You know, this statement by Putin builds upon a statement by his spokesperson, Dmitry Peskov, who said, you know, don't even think about killing Khamenei, that would be opening Pandora's box, and that he believed there would be an outpouring of support for the Iranian regime. Your thoughts on where this stands, and Russia's bold talk, but not a lot of action on behalf of Iran?
It seems like to me, I don't know if this is before the bomb, before the strike or after the strike. But yeah, he's sitting there.
Putin strike me as the type that could easily play both sides.
Facts.
Yeah, well, he was that buddy by Donald Trump. Him and Donald Trump, buddy, but they probably do business together.
Okay.
Yeah, Martha, it's fascinating. We hadn't heard as much as we expected to from Russia until the last few days. But look, Russia is looking at one of its closest allies right now. Iran is part of that coalition between Russia, Iran, North Korea. And if Iran were to fall, and everyone's looking not just at the nuclear deal, but perhaps if it were to fall, that takes a big ally away from Russia, and they would do everything they can to try and shore them up. On top of that, we know that China is also really interested in having Iran on the table, and now we're seeing China planes flying into Iran, perhaps to pull people out, but also a real awareness of the 1.3 million barrels of oil a day that go from Iran to China. So you suddenly have this coalition of countries that have supported Iran who are pushing back against it. And of course, when Dmitry Peskov earlier said that, if the Ayatollah was assassinated, then that would lead to severe consequences. They are thinking about Putin as well. They do not want to send a message that you can get rid of the leader of a country because you are at war with them, because of course that is Putin's own spokesman when he says that. So those countries looking really, really closely, and I think would do whatever they can to keep to keep the Ayatollah in power.
Benjamin Hall, great coverage. Thank you very much. Good to see you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me
what they're saying is, hey, wherever these Iranians fall short, they picking up the slack.
That ain't good.
Right.
No, that's not good.
China and Russia gonna pick up the slack.
Well, they figured out that it's strength in numbers.
Right. Especially when it comes to the tyrant, when it comes to the, you know what I'm saying? And we have to admit it, they see us as a tyrant. They see us as the world power that so many of them have wished was out of power for generations. That's why you got people growing up and studying to be lawyers at 7 years old, because the customs are to topple the beast from the east, the beast from the west. Basically, that's the whole game plan. While we over here playing, popping perks and some more shit.
They say Hegseth embarrasses himself at Pentagon briefing. Now, who is this man? What is he over? The army?
I don't know, but I saw him this morning, and I didn't hear what he was saying.
Yes. Thank you very much. General Kane, I understand OPSEC. I respect OPSEC. Can you say at all what security procedures are being taken to protect U.S. troops in Iraq and elsewhere in the Middle East? And Secretary Hegseth, as a global war on terrorism veteran,
he's the Secretary of
what do you
State.
say to veterans who may be concerned the U.S. is getting into another open-ended war in the Middle East over weapons of mass destruction?
Thanks, sir, for the question. I won't comment on what force protection measures are being taken in the region. What I will say is we're being proactive and not reactive. And being very thoughtful about ensuring that we do all that we can to protect our forces out there.
And I would just say, as the president has directed and made clear, this is most certainly not open-ended. It doesn't mean it limits our ability to respond. We will respond if necessary. The most powerful military in the world is postured and prepared to defend our people. But what the president gave us, as I said, was a focused, powerful, and clear mission on the destruction of Iranian nuclear capabilities. Those were the targets. That's what was struck. That's what was overwhelming. That's what was overwhelming. That's what the Iranian regime needs to understand. As the president put out last night, he wants peace. There needs to be a negotiated settlement here. We ultimately demonstrated that Iran cannot have a nuclear capability. That is a very clear mission set on this operation.
Isn't that a man that he just decided to put over the defense?
Yes, right there.
That was not qualified.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Basically.
How was this coordinated with the Israelis on a strategic level, militarily, and on a tactical level? Was there any direct Israeli military participation in this operation?
Well, I would say certainly Israel had an incredible military.
You skip that one, Miss T. Don't worry about it. was saying you can skip this commercial.
Why is it? Why always showing? Oh Lord.
Military success, especially at the beginning and ongoing, in degrading Iranian capabilities, in degrading Iranian launchers, MRBMs. It's been incredible to watch what our ally Israel has been able to do. And there certainly have been conversations. I mean, General Kurilla at CENTCOM has worked closely in the defense of Israel for many years. And part of this operation was the defense of Israel and the ongoing defense of Israel. But as it pertains to this strike, this was U.S. operated and U.S. led.
We took advantage of some of the preparatory work that's been done over the past week and a half in terms of axis of approach. I won't get into the particulars, but as the Secretary said, it was a U.S. strike. We made sure we were not in the same piece of airspace and sky. Aside from that, that was the extent of it.
We'll take a couple more. Yeah, right there.
Question to the Secretary first. Are you concerned whatsoever now about the reaction from U.S. allies given the strike, particularly those in the Gulf? And to the Chairman, if I may, I understand you don't want to speak to specific assets or force protection measures, but do you anticipate at least having to bring in any further assets from other theaters to aid in force protection over the coming days?
We certainly understand the challenges of allies in the region, and we have been respectful and in working in collaboration with them as it pertains to basing and sensitivities there. Ultimately, they've got a lot of assets and people in those locations also where American troops are co-located. So that's a consideration of ours. We've been in close consultation with them, and we appreciate the support that we have got.
Thanks for the question on sort of the global picture. And as you know, that's one of my jobs, is to look globally at the entire range of challenges. We are always carefully considering our force posture around the world and then offering options to the Secretary and to the President. I won't comment on any future things, but the American people should know that we carefully consider those moves around the world and try to modulate as needed our force structure in the region.
Absolutely. Yeah, right here.
Thank you. What communications are being sent to the Iranians right now, and is there any possibility of diplomacy now or in the coming days?
I can only confirm that there are both public and private messages being directly delivered to the Iranians in multiple channels, giving them every opportunity to come to the table. They understand precisely what the American position is, precisely what steps they can take to allow for peace, and we hope they do so. Yes.
The president may not want an open-ended conflict. The Iranians may disagree. Are you prepared for a protracted war?
Well, anything can happen in conflict. We acknowledge that. But the scope of this was intentionally limited. That's the message that we're sending. With the capabilities of the American military, nearly unlimited. So Iran, in that sense, has a choice. But we've made it very clear to them, this is nuclear sites, this is nuclear capabilities, this is the line that the president set, and we set that back. Now is the time to come forward for peace. But we, I think what one of the takeaways from this as well is the unprecedented level of ongoing cooperation. I can't speak highly enough of the chairman and his staff and General Kurilla in CENTCOM, what they've done to look around the corner, to pre-position, to understand how an operation like this comes together. The scope and scale of what occurred last night would take the breath away of almost any American if you had an opportunity to watch it in real time. And I think Tehran is certainly calculating the reality that planes flew from the middle of America and Missouri overnight, completely undetected over 3 of their most highly sensitive sites. And we were able to destroy nuclear capabilities. And our boys in those bombers are on their way home right now. We believe that'll have a clear psychological impact on how they view the future. And we certainly hope they take the path of negotiated peace. But I could not be more proud.
Well, who does Trump listen to?
Of how this building operated.
So who does he listen to? Does he listen to these people and decide and make an executive decision on we need to go to war?
I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. And this is the thing. You got all of this tough talk right here. And you saying that us flying from Missouri all the way to Iran to knock the E4 wig back is going to have a psychological effect on them. What do you think that they're going to try to do that have a psychological effect on us.
I agree.
It goes both ways, and they're not seeing that.
Deborah says he got mad because he felt like Tesla was losing a lot of money from tariffs.
When
talking
all of this,
about what's his
Elon Musk, when all of this went down, and they finally started throwing slugs at each other, Trump basically told them, "Hey, we could trim a lot of money from the budget by eliminating all these government contracts that you hold." He kind of hushed up. We hadn't really heard from Elon since. But
that's
this is
Trump threatening.
Absolutely. This is what I'm talking about. All this tough talk, fam. And this is what riled the people up. You know what I'm saying? They love it. They love it. They probably drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon, you know what I'm saying, beating their chest, you know, talking about America. You know what I'm saying? This ain't, man, listen, we know we're the superpower. We know we're the strongest in the world. But, you know, Babylon was brought down. It can happen. It can happen when you get too cocky and too confident. Miss T, you mind if I show something?
Go ahead. Let me take this quack down. He looked like he came from Fox News. A straight up reporter over the Secretary of Defense.
Right. And this is the rhetoric that's pushing the whole attitude of this country right now.
This entire military is one cohesive, dedicated force. And the threats to our nations, they don't sleep. They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gabfest show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. We have been honed into a machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you know what's good for you. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We've seen war. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
We fight so our children never have to. We fight for one day when our children and our enemies' children can discuss their differences without fear or loathing. We fight so that anyone out there thinking about raising arms against our citizens or allies realize the futility of attrition against a disciplined, professional, and lethal force built to withstand anything you can dream of throwing at us.
Hey, Mike.
Americans want this kind of country. Americans want this kind of world. And we stand ready to defend it, to protect us. So help us, God. May God bless this beautiful army. May God bless our Marine Corps, our Navy, our Air Force, and Coast Guard. May God bless our allies. And we already know that God blessed America because he gave us the greatest fighting force this world has ever seen, 2-2 infantry of the 1st Infantry Division. Thank you, Ramrods, duty first, Dukes. Thank you very much.
And they have the same sentiment.
They're like,
if somebody else raise their children, or all of them go together.
Right, right. And see, that type of talk, that type of rhetoric will make people that don't have no hope against these folks put a explosive on their back and walk into a public space.
But people like they talk like that will be the first one bite the dust. They look at more.
What's up with it, Ed?
Some type of men would have wouldn't be so tough without Secret Service or government behind them.
Yeah. Damien Clark. Shoot it straight, man. I'm just saying, man. But this is a wild situation. We don't know where it's going because we got a wildfire, a wreck loose, a live wire, whatever you want to call him, at 78 years old in the driver's seat. Yeah. So we don't know where we're going. We just gotta buckle up and enjoy the ride.
No, we know we're going somewhere.
Yeah, for real.
I think I'm just gonna get gas from Kroger.
You so, hey, Tay, I'm so hung up on them Iranians and them gas stations. The
Yeah, well, then get you some gas and put it in your trunk, man.
I'm gonna fill up and drive slow.
I'm telling you, you have to be careful, like I said, about these government agents, courts and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. You're right. Courts, federal buildings.
Yeah,
hey, man.
Bin Laden, CIA.
Man.
Like Kroger don't like black people.
Fort Hood, Fort Campbell, Fort Worth,
Fort Campbell in Kentucky,
Fort Bragg, Fort Dix. Come on, man.
Yeah, man.
Just saying.
We don't still get food. We don't still depend on these countries for nothing, do we?
Crude oil.
Yeah,
oh, Lord.
We depend on China.
Yeah, we depend on China. Like all them shoes you're clicking on, where you think they coming from?
China.
The shit, yeah. Shit, yeah.
Oh God, no!
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a drought in stilettos.
So be prepared to spend extra $100, man, because we're gonna come be a good old president.
No stilettos in the club. No, sir. Yeah, so this is what we're dealing with. This is what we're dealing with. It works when we all work together, but then you get the bullies and these people that America First World Police, and that's what we're dealing with now. Whew. Crazy work, y'all.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely crazy work.
Mm-hmm.
Big Pressure says Obama, Clinton, Bush all use military force without Congress.
This is nothing new. No, it's not nothing new. You're right. You're right. Before Obama came to Tuscaloosa, Alabama to survey the damage for the tornadoes, he sent the hit out on Osama bin Laden. I remember the news breaking and Obama was in Tuscaloosa. Yeah. So
when they allegedly shot him between the eyes.
Yeah, you said he worked for the CIA, right?
Well, that was the rumor. And then with CIA, I would have been one more. So you kind of do, but I don't think the Afghans had nothing to do with that. They just wanted them out of there.
Well, I think if he did work for them people, it was in the mid 70s. That's right. How they got that made up.
Right. But I don't think the Afghans had nothing like Iraq. They went over the course of Iraq for nothing and didn't find nothing.
Mm-hmm. They went and got Saddam and Oday and Qusay out of hole somewhere and did them boy dirty. Put them on the newspaper. Jesus.
And hung them up by the news.
They changed why they was taking out Saddam Hussein. Did they ever finalize why they really took him out?
No, they ain't gonna never finalize. Well, number one, he wanted Bush and them out of here. And that's why they was in the head to go get it.
Black Barbara says we buy all of your stilettos now. Chance, laugh out loud, and thanks for making me laugh because I'm so nervous with what's going on. Me too.
Black Barbara, all you gotta do is tune in to Real Talk with Tamara and Hit Squad TV, Cypress TV, Deluxe D. Once you do that, we're gonna get your mind at ease.
That's true.
This ain't one of them lives though. But y'all join Cypress this evening for the Sunday conversation, the Sunday sit down. You know what I'm saying?
What you gonna be talking about, Cypress?
I haven't made up my mind yet. I'm thinking about stuff. I haven't made up my mind yet. With me, you just never know.
Well, I ain't gonna lie to you, and I'm not just scared. I'm alert, and being this alert, I can't do no videos on Sauce Walker, Go Yayo, or Finesse 2 times. We gotta be locked in on what's really happening. See, that's America's problem.
Yeah.
And that's why you got 22 and 23-year-old multi-millionaires, because they pay well to keep you guys focused on the nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Who gonna win tonight? Is it gonna be the Pacers or the Oklahoma City Thunder? Does it really matter in the grand scheme of things? When we didn't just watch what we just watched.
Well, it matter when you bet.
People are saying that they are going to retaliate.
Right.
You can tell they don't want no peace. And I think even after they retaliate, they're not going to want peace.
No. Diplomacy is out the window.
Now, it ain't going to never be no peace. What's going on with you, young? Now, it ain't going to never be no peace. And it shouldn't be.
And I just hope that they only hit bases instead of hitting civilian neighborhoods, because that was the problem years ago. You know, people coming in and hitting civilian neighborhoods. And, you know what I'm saying? When you do stuff like that, that's when you create the monster. That's when kids' childhood gets struck from them, and they grow up wanting to do nothing other than hop on an airplane with a box cutter, and you know what I'm saying?
Get the word.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's time for. I'm tired of the nice guy stuff. I think if they gonna do something, they gonna do it.
I don't know what you. If they gonna do something, they need to go and do it. What are you talking about?
I'm just saying, like, whatever they gonna do, they need to go and quit whooping and do it. Like,
you can't stand anticipation of it. They're gonna do it for sure.
Because this is what everybody. Man, don't say that. No, this is written. It needs to go down if it's gonna go down.
Well, we know it's gonna go down. We just don't know when. Shit, you can't force it, because the Bible even tell you no one know the day or the hour. So I hate to go biblical on you, but
when you've heard other nations, and Iran has said it before, Iran despises America. You know, they've spoken about it before in the Middle East. When they talk about war, they always say death of America.
Death to America.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they had been working on something to clean America, to take us off the map.
Well, that's what the narrative was behind hitting these bases. They've been in that cooking up in the lab for the last 20 years, and you know they've been stalling these folk off and stalling them off. And Trump just said, you know what, enough with the stalling. We finna make parking lots out of these nuclear plants.
I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
No, they say I'm the reaper. No, I ain't the reaper, man. It's written, man. It's written. We know it's coming. Like, you know it's coming. Ain't no way around. It's written, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming. And then come on.
Ken said there's 2 naval bases in Memphis or in the United States.
But it's a couple of them. Well, one in Millington. Still, ain't nobody gonna
one is in Millington.
Hell, ain't nobody never heard of that. No way. Ain't nobody gonna touch the damn thing. They probably got a flat screen and a
Well, I do
goddamn.
know right there, at Airways, they got the Air Force.
Oh, the depot, brother.
Yeah, because it scared the hell out of me. No, right there at not at Airways, but at Shelby Drive by the airport.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And they got they got it where you can't see over it, but you could see those big Army planes, because sometimes they fly and they be flying so low. And they I be thinking when I look at, I'm like, oh my God, how in the hell something that big can be up in the air and not fall?
Yeah. Get ready real fast, everyone. Trust in God, but also stockpile food, ammo, and guns. Protect your family and the things you love by any means necessary. Once you get ready, you got to stay ready. That's my dog, J. Rail, speaking right there. Salute to you, big
Shout out to J. Rail.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, stockpile and stay out of the way.
Black Rose says we've always been an international bully.
Right. Right. Crude oil has been behind it 90% of the time.
Do y'all think this is going to make a lot of the white people get away from behind Trump, because they have a lot of kids in service?
No, they're gonna get behind Trump.
They raise their kids for this type of shit. What them folks say? I'm proud to be an American. Well, at least I know I'm free. They love that shit, man. They love that shit, man. That's what they live for.
So this is what I want to know. How were they able? So have they made airplanes and stuff that sophisticated where they can fly over territory and go undetected?
That's what they just did last night.
So what was it? How they do that? They go up, like they're up too high for them to detect them?
Stealth technology.
Yep. Or they probably got up in like some cargo, and then just drop them down. So you look at
I guess we'll never know how they was able to go undetected.
Yeah, they got
I would think that they have the capability of going up higher than normal for a little while, and then I don't know.
Yeah.
C5 Galaxy is the name of the planes.
Pressure, boy. Pressure, you sound like one of them people, man. God is on our side, man. Last time I checked, God was over there. What are you talking about, man? What, Jerusalem and the Jordan River, and Tigris Euphrates, man. I'm just saying. And we know what these folk did. Yeah.
They said the Chinese have those capabilities also.
I can believe it.
And they got the money, so
yeah, they making.
That's everything.
All I gotta do is go to Bessemer Flea Market and see all the fake iPhones and fake, you know what I'm saying, everything that's real. They done made 2 and 3 variations of it fake. So I'm damn sure of the belief that they got something similar. They the clone kings over there.
They said jamming and cloning of radars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they did that big. They did that big one, but you know what I'm saying. When you know what side of history you're on, I don't know about that guy. God is with us. I don't know about that. Because we know how we got here. So if God with them and we know how we got here, come on, man.
Ken said China doesn't have the air power or Navy. Yeah, but they like to weaponize that. They use chemicals as weapons of mass destruction. Didn't they make coal to the vid?
Depend on who you ask. I get that too, Fresh. I get it. God may be with them. God will make your enemy your footstool. I don't know about these folk over here. Just saying. God may be on their side. These Anglo-Saxons, the jury's still out on that.
Does Israel have a army, or are they too small?
All of them too small in comparison to what we working with.
Why does the Iranians keep messing with Israel?
They want that land.
Oh.
They all in very close proximity.
Mm-hmm.
Iran, Iraq, Israel,
Africa,
that Gaza Strip, all of that. Mm-hmm. Yep, they've been going at each other well before we were born.
Israel is the. I remember I walked into it years ago. I walked into a phone place, and this guy came out, and he said one was from Pakistan, one was from Israel, and he says that Africa is like their back door.
Right. All of them places, you know what I'm saying, you go down through your 66 books and you gonna see landmarks from over there. They all jam together. Simon of Syria and all them people that we hear about in the 66 books, they from right over there on that turf. Yeah. So
that Israel is strong thanks to the U.S. A lot of people think that Israel is playing victim, that they've been killing the Iranian leaders or people.
Yeah.
Because they will attack you now when you go to Israel. I remember a girl went to Israel. You know how they used to send them on those school trips?
Mm-hmm.
And they beat the shit out of her. A black girl.
That's crazy.
Beat the shit out of her, took her candy, robbed her.
Cause they done them candy.
They took everything she had.
Damn.
So I guess you have to be careful, because somebody was telling me, one of my friends was like, when he was in the service, he says that they would kill you. I don't know if it's Pakistan or what, if you come over there to that country and don't wrap your head up. The women.
Could be Pakistan, Yemen. Yemen, that's salute them people. They rough.
The women still can't look at the men in the eye. But here's the thing about that. That's their tradition. I don't think that the United States should be trying to get in that. Because that's what they were saying one time before, how they was treating the women. But you had a lot of women bucking against that. That was their tradition.
Right. Believe what you will, but my belief is God is on our side. Salute, Big Pressure. Salute to you, bro.
Damien says, that's how I tried to show the amount of nuclear weapons, and I don't remember the relative amounts, but if Israel had 400 nuclear weapons, then the U.S. had 4,000.
Right. Yeah, it's slanted. These some warmongering Vikings over here, fam. They gonna, if they don't have nothing, they gonna have guns now. If they don't have nothing, they gonna have guns and ammo. Trust and believe when I tell you.
Now they haven't said anything, but I bet you it was some people killed. Because if they have to have humans to man that, right? Those
Right.
Yeah, so I'm sure they was hit too.
Yeah, but but they were soldiers, and that I know that sounds crazy. As long as they didn't hit no civilians, you know, and that might not mean nothing to them, but it means something to me. You know, you don't hit no civilians, you go and you strike who you striking at, then you know what I'm saying, that count for something. Because the minute they take out a neighborhood, man, listen, all bets is off the table. All bets is off the table. You can look for airstrikes. You can look for airborne illnesses, EMPs, all of that type of stuff. I don't know, man. It's a lot to take in, but
yes, it is.
I'm doing my research today.
Me too. Cypress, what time you coming up? He on. Cause I'm getting ready to hush. Hell, I'm getting ready to make my dinner. I've been had a taste for my turkey meatloaf, and I want some green beans. But I thought about it. I was like, I bought some turkey wings to put into some smoked turkey wings to put into my green beans. I could just make that a dinner like Tuesday, and I'll just do a turkey meatloaf with homemade mashed potatoes today. That's what I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna get ready to get cooking it. Anyway, I appreciate you all coming up. I'm getting ready to land the plane.
I got a roast in there calling my name.
What you gonna make with your roast?
Macaroni and cheese and cornbread.
That sounds good. What do you put on your roast? What all you put in your roast? You let it slow cook.
Yes, that's what it's doing. It's in the crock pot right now. Onions, not tomatoes, potatoes, carrots, green beans, you know, the usual.
That sounds good. I guess I should have said, what do you season it with?
Man, what is it called? I'm drawing a blank right now. Complete seasoning, yes.
That's my favorite.
Salt and pepper. I even mash up a garlic clove or two. You know what I'm saying? And just let it go for what it know.
I love fresh garlic.
Man.
I was trying to think of. I saw a YouTube channel. I guess I'm gonna have to find it. She made her meatloaf another like a particular way. I think she put cheese. Hush! She put cheese or something in it.
Okay.
But I don't really want no cheese in my meatloaf, though. I be wanting to think of new ways to, because I love garlicky food. I do garlicky and spicy.
Yeah, facts. I don't like spicy food, but I like.
I might put it on. I might let it smoke. Once I put it together, I might let it smoke. Wrap it up real good. I might let it smoke on the grill, and then
I love garlic food. Hey, TB21 said, "What you cooking today, Si?"
Man, shit, I'm getting in the street probably. I'm gonna do this. I'm probably gonna go live and I'm getting outside. I'm getting outside. It's raining right now.
What time you say you going live, Si?
Probably in a few minutes. I'll see you. Stay in due time now.
Okay, well, I gotta cook my Sunday dinner, and then I'm gonna look at I guess I'll look at Harriet. So y'all know I like the old slave movies. Is there anything else? I mean, we don't have to crave. Cause I'm just gonna. It's a good thing my job requires me to stay out in the field mostly.
Why you like one minute you watching Shaka Zulu, next minute you watching Harriet?
I know those. I'm gonna see if it's any more movies, any more slave movies. And when I'm not looking at that, I love to look at this is what I was going to ask you all. Have y'all ever sat down and just search YouTube for some of those old like retired CIA agents? When they get ready to die on their deathbed, they tell about their missions. Like they have videotapes of that.
No.
I never have.
I'm telling you, stuff like that is interesting to me. Like the missions that the United States, that I'm just gonna tell you, it's been ran by a bunch of damn gangsters.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, and that's what I was implying when, we say stuff like God is on our side. I don't know about that, man.
Hey,
Can't.
Trump, Bush, straight up gangster.
Yeah. Shit.
Yeah, but at some point, that bullying, that's what United States is known for. And people have been knowing that forever. At some point, they start preparing to fight back against that so that it can stop. You heard that man say this stuff has got to be put to rest.
Man, listen. When Jeb Bush left Florida, they were so glad he was gone. He was gone. Yeah.
What's going on over there? Well, they over there acting. But listen, yeah, it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on with these people, man. Atrocities have been committed for years upon years upon years.
Yeah.
Saying now, if you saying God is on our side, then I can agree with that. But when you say our, you gotta differentiate.
And I do want to make this point too. When 9/11 happened, you heard the Iraqi people. They were so angry, and they were so angry because of, if you listen to some of them online or whatever, it's mainly because of what the soldiers did. It's a lot of stuff. They knew it was about oil. The people in the United States didn't know that. And the stuff that they did to their women, their children, these people were angry.
Yeah, because they would basically accuse of something they didn't do.
Divine Black Rose, you my dog, fam. Divine Black Rose is my dog, man. Hey, I couldn't have said it better, fam. Real talk. But yeah, you don't have the filmmakers like you used to have, like Michael Moore, when they would have these cats going over there, dropping them, doing them airstrikes and playing rock and roll music. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Man, folks. Man, listen.
TB21 said my dogs can cover us. I'm gonna tell you something about them. They can hear. I'm telling you, they can hear a mile away, and somehow they know when it's walking towards. When it's coming, getting closer to they can hear miles away. They're gonna, and they all start barking at they could all hear it at the same time.
Dang.
Real talk.
Yeah, that's true. The Black Rose, that's true.
That's a fact. They used to say "God bless America" and nowhere else.
The scary part is the way Trump's voice sound. He sound kind of fearful to me.
I don't think he sound fearful. He just old as hell. His teeth. He is not fearful. He is just old as hell, and he talking that big boy talk. And this the type of, he know that they love this type of talk. He even been in office another 8 years.
Yeah, but that man got like a Suge-like mentality.
He wanna hold down monument to himself when he leave here. Real talk.
He most likely gonna get it.
Yeah, for real.
I hope he get it.
Glad you voted for him.
I don't vote for nobody.
I know you didn't. See that? You talking about right there. You saying shit, man. Come on, man.
Hey, man, it wouldn't be me.
Lord have mercy.
I ain't gonna lie. If I was to vote, Kamala wasn't gonna be the one I was gonna vote for.
Yeah.
Because
you can tell when you ain't got to fight in person. Yes. It's always the old men that start the wars that the young men have to go and fight.
Yeah, and some of the young men gonna die about this shit, and the old men go home.
Yeah, it's sad, man. It's truly sad.
Yeah, man, it's the time we live in.
Yeah, real talk. Well, Miss T, I'm finna jump down, man. I just want to say thank you for letting me up. Thank you to everybody in the chat. It looked like we got over 90 likes, and yeah, appreciate y'all for pushing the video out into the algorithm to get recommended, man. This is serious business. Keita, what's up with it? You gonna have to run a ball back on this one, but salute to you. But yeah, it's serious business, and we gotta disregard the mess for a minute. To focus on what's real, and this ain't the popular talk, but sometimes you have to go down the road less traveled to be informed.
Yeah,
So salute y'all.
I agree. This is definitely important. I
Most
appreciate you all coming up.
For
no
sure.
doubt.
All right,
Take care of
Cypress. They'll see you in between cooking my Sunday dinner. I'll stop in and see
All
what
right,
you
for
got
sure.
going on. Okay, hon.
All right.
All right. All right, you guys. I appreciate. Shout out to the Alabama Hitter. Shout out to Cypress TV for stopping in and being a guest on the channel. I really do. Going to replay right now. Salute Miss T. Salute Cypress. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you all that stopped in. Shout out to the people. Shout out to TB21 and SL for donating to the channel, sending super chats. I appreciate you all so much. I want you guys to know that you all absolutely rock. Y'all make the channel what it is. I know I'm supposedly the host, but I always say it is the personalities of the subscribers that come in and keep the chat jumping that make people, want to really come into the chat, right? The awesomeness of the subscribers. I know my subscribers have me tickled. I be trying not to look at. Thank you, Nonchalant Keita, for the $5 super chat. I be trying not to look at the chat because y'all have me tickled so much. I lose my train of thought. But you all make the channel what it is. Y'all absolutely rock. I don't take that lightly. As we start to talk about other things, y'all know. We talking about a plethora of things. I got to try to catch up on doing like my pre-recorded videos. I did do one yesterday. Make sure you guys go back and look at that one. But I've been behind on doing pre-recorded videos because I be so busy, right? But I said that if I don't, well, I was going to say if I don't have to bring cases home, I won't. But I'm going to just try to do more pre-recorded videos like I used to. And I have been enjoying doing the lives with you all as we prepare to as we gird up to see what's going to happen with Orange Mountain Quest trial. We're going to still be very active and keeping an eye on this. This is extremely scary, to say the least, that we are at war. And I just feel like, unfortunately, I know that, we have to pray for God to cover us because God reigns on the just as well as the unjust. Thank you for becoming a member, Keita. I appreciate that so much. You all, if you don't have memberships, thank you, Hitta. Okay, Hitta about to become my YouTube boo. Now, see, people, I just gave people something to go and run with, right? But all of you all are my YouTube boos, okay? Y'all to come in here and support the channel. And when I'm not on, you look for me when I'm overwhelmed and I'm overworked and I can't come on. You all send me messages, especially the Black Barbie. She'll send me messages when I don't come on for one day, just showing with her eyes, letting me know we looking for you, Miss T. So I appreciate that so much. Even you know, in a time where hey, you know, people might not even appreciate you, may not even like you. And what people need to understand is that they call them personalities for a reason, you know. um, this is my personality. It does not have personality, and oftentimes in character can be two different things, because we have to entertain you, but for the most part, I'm going to always, to the best of my ability, try to bring you the truth. I don't have a reason to try and misguide anyone. I'll always try to bring you the truth. Okay. Anyways, I love you guys. I gotta cook my Sunday dinner. Because that's the most important part of the week to me, always cooking a good old Sunday dinner. Okay. So I love you guys. You all be blessed. And I'll try and do it after I get good and full from my turkey meatloaf and my homemade mashed potatoes. I might try and upload a pre-recorded video. Okay. I love you guys. Y'all stay safe, stay blessed, stay prayed up. Okay. I'll talk with you later.